this not working? There we go. Copy that link. This way. That way. Alright, so I just dropped the live stream link in the that's the coaching thread. There we go. There's the words I'm looking for. So you let me know when you've got that pulled up and we can start going through this. And obviously at any point feel free to ask me any questions or anything too. You hear? It's all good on your end, is it? Okay. I know it's going to be a couple of seconds delayed, but it's fine. Don't hate any of that. See, here you're rotating way too far out of this play. So I don't hate you going here, but grab that mid boost. And you should be keeping your eye on the play too. Right? Because as you rotate wide, well, I've lost my support, because we can still maybe mount an attack here. Like, not all hope is lost. So if you want, grab that mid boost. Like, I don't hate coming back for boost, but coming back there, like, look at this. I've got an opportunity to have the ball mid for you, but you're not there, right? Right, I mean, it ends up working out fine because I see the fact that you're so far back. We get the shot, but, like, ideally, you're just more in the play. And again, so from here, you've got boost. You should be here. So as you sit here, you're kind of ready for whatever happens, right? You end up there at the right time. Could have just sat there, honestly. It wouldn't have hurt you. Sorry? Yeah, but granted, but by being here, you're so far out of a play that if that ball does get shot down that other wall, you're not really close to it, right? And like here, you're just behind me. not really giving me many options from here, right? I don't have a teammate I can pass to immediately because I don't see you, right? Like even when I look to my left, I don't see you, right? You're completely blind to me there. I'm not going to be looking directly behind me for a teammate. I get a glimpse of you there, but I'm doing all of this assuming you're just mid and in this rough area the whole time to begin with. But that's why you sit in that area, because when that ball dies and they do dumb shit, see, I don't hate this. But you see how I'm kind of here supporting you, right? Kind of in that midfield area. That play's dead, so I'm just a little closer. But by sitting there, I'm giving options. And I can take over that ball while you're still coming out, right? And then you completely leave. You're playing behind me, which I don't fully love. Like, from here, grab this boost and just turn midfield. You don't even need to flip here, honestly. Like that flip, you can see, puts you way out of position. And you could have just turned left and been more midfield. That's good control. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. No, I think you actually did play that right. Looking back at that. Well, like I come back and I stop this here at the moment of like, hey, you've got to make a choice. Do I go for this or do I not? And he's just too close to that ball. Like he's gonna beat you to that ball every time. So that's well played. Poor touch, unfortunate, but you had the right idea. I got nothing to really say bad about this, but this is what I mean by cheating on kickoff. See how I'm just right there to take control of this? Meanwhile, you would sit back and be honestly in the same position as Jay on the other field, and we just have another kickoff again, essentially, right? So my philosophy on kickoffs, and a lot of other coaches, is your teammate screwed up the kickoff, that's not your fault, right? And every once in a while, it's okay to sit here and go, okay, my teammate cost us this goal. Like, not every goal in Rocket League is your fault. Sometimes you do everything you're supposed to do and you still get scored on. Uh, Now, it's one of those things where if you see your teammate constantly being beat to a ball, okay, yeah, don't keep cheating. But off rip, you should just be cheating because when kickoffs like this happen, it's free possession. Like, this is our ball, right? If I'm sitting back here, but if I'm sitting back here and that same ball happens, we just have another kickoff happening. High ranked lobbies, you're not going to see someone just sitting in the net back here after kickoff, right? Right. Well, if you want to rank up and get through the lobbies, like at certain points, you just have to sit here and go, this isn't my fault. I need to be doing the right things for when I do get to these lobbies, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, okay, you've done 2 kickoffs in a row and your teammates lost both of them. Okay, don't cheat anymore, right? But offhand, you should just be cheating up typically to try and gain possession. Because possession's everything in this game. No. See here. From this moment, keep hitting the wrong button. Again, I'm expecting someone here-ish. That's an easy pass for me, right? How are you supporting me over there? What is the outcome that we're trying to play for here? Right? And you can see here that if you were just midfield, this is a easy pass and you can slot that behind this guy because he's sitting in a poor position in net. He's middle of the net. Like that's where you don't want to be, right? But sorry. I mean, yeah, if I pass that ball directly in front of him, but the idea is if you're back here, right? I can pass this ball in a way that it's almost always going to be your ball before his ball. You know what I mean? But okay, but sure. So if you could sit here and still not go, but at least by being here, you're being supportive when something does happen that you can go, right? Because like, what's to say I get a good pop here middle for a good pass? I don't go for it because you're over here and like popping it this way is just giving that guy the ball. But what's to say I don't get a ball popped to about here, right? And you're just sitting here, right? By sitting here, you are giving yourself zero options to support me. All you are doing by playing here is playing me losing possession of the ball, right? That's all you're doing. You can't be helpful on offense from here because you're not in a scoring position. You're not in a passing position because you're behind me and behind the play. So and I mean, if you want to, so like this is where you start making choices. You're playing this game to not lose. You're not playing this game to win. You're playing it to not lose. And there's a big difference in playing, right? Because you are giving yourself zero opportunities to attack when you do stuff like this. Sure, it might be very hard to get scored on, but you're not going to score either. And you still need to score the ball to win the game, right? Right. Well, no, it is what you do. I can see it in how you play because I used to play the exact same way. Well, and so this is what I say. So just like even in this position here, I can't do anything with that ball, right? You are being, like I said, you're being zero help. If you just slide this way, we now have a 2-on-1 on that goalie for one, because he's kind of out of the play for a second or two. You at least by being here, give yourself that opportunity. And you saw earlier in the game, in this exact same scenario, you don't have to go if they're closer. You can still turn and play shadow defense, right? But at least by being here, you give yourself the opportunity to get that goal. But being there, all you're doing is playing defensively. And I mean, if you want to play defensively, that's fine, but you're not going to get through platinum. To get through plat, you've got to play a bit aggressively. You've got to capitalize on the mistakes that people make, because people are going to make mistakes. Well, and again, by being here, okay, so I get beat to that ball. Just flip and drive this way. You're here in no time because that's not a threatening position for them to have the ball. You can give them that second for you to get over here, right? Meanwhile, I get a good pass mid. You don't have a second to get over here to take that shot. Because you take that extra second, this guy's got that ball, right? From here, you cover the opportunity that has no time to be given, because a pass here has to be acted on quickly. But if I get dunked 9 times out of 10, you've got time to drive this way and challenge, right? Okay, so 1 out of 10 times you get beat and you might get scored on. Do you want to play for the 10% or the 90%? Right? Because you can see, like, even here, I start driving this back to you because this is where my passing play is. It would not have been very hard to just let this ball come a little more forward and just drive it this way, right? And if I just drive this ball this way, I can pop my brakes at the right point, and he's not really going to want to challenge because I'm still right there. You know what I mean? In his mind, I'm doing his job for him because I'm taking the ball away from his net. So this is what I mean. Like, being behind me is not really giving options. If you come just play more middle, you're giving me, you give your teammate options, because now I've got a passing opportunity. I've got an opportunity to make this a 2-on-1 just by you being here because there's one guy back, right? Okay, sure, I got beat. You've got time. You've got time. Like, you've got so much time, right? Like, they're not rushing that ball. That ball's going to a safe spot in our corner, right? Our corner is the safest spot for the ball. So if you're here and that ball just gets beat and goes down to our corner, well, you've got time to just come here and take this ball wide, right? And probably still end up in this type of scenario. Good idea, just poor mechanics, those will come. Here. Stay here. There There is no reason for you and your teammate to be in the same corner ever. Especially on defense, more especially on offense. So, my reasoning for that is by here, who's defending the net now? If they're in slightly better positioning, who's defending the net? Nobody. Who's defending the net? Absolutely nobody. If they get a shot on net from that corner, that's going in our net 10 times out of 10 from here. Because I get beat. Again, I don't hate front post, but if you're going to play front post, you've got to be faced the other way so the net's in front of you. I'm still in the corner. Don't go. That's not threatening. What's threatening about this? Trust. Okay, so from here, what is this guy doing with the ball? He's bringing this to the back wall from here. Oh, he did. Well, I disrupted that just by being there, right? Because I can see from my perspective here, he lands like that. He wants to take this back wall now. This whole time I could see he wants to take that back wall. Well, I just park my car and and disrupt his plans, right? Now there's really nothing threatening. Sure, I have no boost, but I can still control the situation, right? Like that whole I've had no boost this whole time. But just because I have no boost doesn't mean I'm useless, right? I'm on that ball. It's my job to make a play on that ball in the corner. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. Hold on. So from here, you've kind of got to make a decision and go, does it look like I'm coming out or does it look like I'm staying in the play? And it kind of like you can kind of tell. Went back too far. Like I don't really have an intention of being out of this play. From here, you can see he wants to take it back wall, and I'm staying back wall to be disruptive, right? So in that moment, if you just turn your car 180 at front post, oops, and put your car here, facing this way, any shot that gets put on net is going to be right in front of you. It's going to be an easy save with full boost. Because nothing here is stressful or panicking. And if I do, okay, so let's say I do just rotate out. That's coming back wall. Like that's not going to be very threatening. You've got time, right? You've got so much time here. They're not doing anything. Well, it's a lot of just looking at what people are trying to do with the ball too, right? And just paying attention to what people are doing. The ball's a round object. We know where round objects go without being touched, right? Cars, well, we don't know where they're going all the time. So even from your perspective here, you can see Jay, and you can see he just made a play on that ball. You can see he's landed facing forwards towards that ball. He's probably going to want to take that back wall from here, 90% of the time. He's not really going to want to shoot that because, well, that's not a shooting angle. And if that's a shooting angle, you're there to save the ball, right? Like, he's not creating power here. He doesn't have speed. The ball doesn't have speed. There's no power here. So he's taking this back wall. Probably to try and create something, who knows. You can stop here and probably be fine. And honestly, you could probably still just stay back post. So if that does come up the wall, just double jump aerial and come up and just stop and disrupt his play that way, right? Because from here, you know, oops, 2 jumps and you're here. Boost a little bit, you can clear a ball off that back wall very easily from there. So, like, it's just not a threatening position. And that's just something you'll come to know as you start looking and analyzing things more, honestly. And again, let's see here. It's just the better place to sit. Right, like you get that touch, you see the fact I'm taking this to the corner. If you just stop your momentum here, I'm going to say probably at that point you're going to realize I'm not doing anything with that. He's not going. Okay, now you can go for this because this is your ball, right? He's not going to want to really hit that back typically. He's driving away from the play. That's your ball. And if you're here, well, that's just a safety net because if, let's say Horton is actually facing the right way for a second and doing the right thing that he's supposed to be doing, If he comes up and just goes for an aerial here, that net is wide open. And you won't beat him to that ball from there. He'll have momentum to come up the wall and take a power shot from up here. Like it's doable. So literally just sitting back post, coming out of this corner is the smarter play. Because you'll see I get bumped there. I've officially lost control of that ball. Even at this point, you can probably go, okay, now this is my ball, right? Now you can go up, make your aerial touch, or try and beam it downfield, or try and catch it, right? Why do we have ball cam off here? Look at that pass he gives you. And that I understand where you're coming from there. Um, so from you're also talking about SSLs who have a completely different understanding of this game than us. And the game plays entirely differently to them than it does to us. In an SSL lobby, this guy is not passing that ball midfield. In an SSL lobby, that touch gets taken, and that ball is being turned into an offensive attack. And that ball is going towards our net in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So, why are we taking SSL lobby knowledge and the way they play the game at times and just going, well, that's what they do, so I'm going to do it that way? Well, in reality, in our lobbies, this ball is a 50-50 ball still. You don't know if I'm getting to that ball or Jay, right? You don't know what's happening to that ball. Why are we looking away from it? It's not really that safe, though. From which is fine, but what I'm going to say is being here in this play, you are across the field and not being supportive. You're just too far away from the play. It's a 1v2 for me now. I have not a problem with you coming this way, grabbing this pad, grab this pad, grab this pad, grab this pad. Because there's 12, 24, 36, 48. That's 50 boost. That's plenty, right? And then by then, you come here and you go, oh man, look at that ball. With 50 boosts, that's a gettable ball. Plus the 17 boost that you had when you landed here, you've got 67 boost, right? Because by the time you're there, extrapolate your position to probably about here, if not here. You can grab this pad and just come up to this ball, right? That's an open net. But by coming cross field, you've taken yourself completely out of this play. And you've just given them that ball. So here, I understand why you play defensive. Once you grab this boost, or you really shouldn't have grabbed the boost. It works out fine. But you gotta come up and play shadow defense on him and buy me time to help this be a 2-on-2, not a 1-on-2. Because ideally, you don't even let him get that shot off in the first place. If you just drive this way and be here, well, he can't shoot through you, right? You can play shadow defense from here. Maybe you beat him to this ball and pass it upfield to me. And we've got an open redirect. Or maybe you can just pass it and shoot, or beat him and shoot it yourself, right? You can't beat him to that ball? Okay, turn, play your shadow defense. It works out fine because he puts a really weak shot on net. Again, you've got, okay, you're first man here. Once this moment happens, you've become first man. You've got to go challenge this ball. I don't know how I feel about this. This isn't good positioning to start with. Again, you should have just stayed more middle. Again, you see me in this going towards this corner. Momentum's taking me towards that play. Granted, so like I'm kind of dead air at this point. I can't protect the net from here. That ball's in our corner. That's a safe spot for it to be. I'm gonna follow that ball's trajectory for a little bit. Like it's obvious that my car is not just gonna plop down. Your safer option is honestly to just park your car here for a second, see what happens. I don't hate being here, because by sitting here, if for whatever reason that ball does get out to Jay and it's a shot, you can still play defense. But we shouldn't be ever doing this. And that's not a choice I could have stopped, right? I land here. That's just poor. Again, just stay here. Had you stayed back post there, that's a very savable shot. The play is going across our net, so this is going to become back post in a second. Well, now that's just right in front of you. At this point in time, it's not 100% sure if I beat him or if he beats me or we both whiff. Who knows what's happening right now? The safest option is to just play defense. What, here? Or on the goal? You talking about this moment? Yes? No? I want... It's not what I want. Here we go. You see here how I kind of just wait? I don't trust you're going to get that ball. That's why I go. But I just kind of wait here just to see what's going to happen. Not perfect positioning by any means, but I've got so much vision here that if he does get a good shot on net, I'm in position to save that ball. Right? Not easily shootable, but you never know. by just being mid here, I can realize and recognize that you're not going to make another play on this ball, and I could take this real quick. But if you're sitting where you typically sit back here, there's not much you can do. They're going to beat you to that ball every time. You know what I mean? I played a lot of this game not trusting what you could do, but still ending up in positions to do what I needed to. Yeah, you can see from my angle why I thought you might have been able to shoot that. Because from here, I think you might have momentum. And for a second, that does look like a goal opportunity from this perspective. Right? Like, that looks like a completely different perspective, doesn't it? Right? Like, from here, I'm like, oh, that's a goal. But meanwhile, yeah, from here, that looks completely different, and that looks like he's a lot closer. This one's tough. That's a tough call, honestly. Like, even looking at this, like, you're pretty even to that ball, honestly. So, like, hindsight's 2020. I think you made the right play here. I really do. But, in the moment, that looked completely different. I think it was the first part of the game I want to see. Not really. Here we go. So you see what I'm doing here? I probably shouldn't have touched this ball, but it's fine, because I still have massive control. But from here, my whole thought was to annoy the fuck out of that guy and steal this guy's boost. The fact that I kept the ball is a whole other story. But you see how I rotate out straight to this boost pad here when I'm done with the play in the middle? Anytime you make a play from here and takes your car this way, try and demo the goalie and steal that boost pad on your way back to here. That will give you another shot opportunity, a chance to maybe bump or demo somebody, to steal the other boost, and repeat. You know what I mean? Which is exactly in my thought process here. Go grab this boost, and you just see I start to rotate back mid. Honestly, mechanically, for someone who is where they are, you're doing just fine. The big things I would change, I mean, have you ever heard anyone talk to you about Rocket League and in 9 squares. So if we take the field from here and divide the field into 9 even squares in a 3 by 3 grid, right? Then can you visualize that? At any given point, you should not be in the same square as your teammate and not have a square in between you and your teammate. So in this particular moment, I'm in that top right square, you're in that middle left square. We've got 2 squares in between us. You know what I mean? Well, you've got that middle square, which would be right where kickoff happens. And then debatably, you've got to cover. You've got like that the middle square and then like a half a square here and a half a square for where you are. 2 squares. Do you want a picture of that visualized? Because I have one. No, 9. Hold on. I'm just gonna try to find the picture in my phone here. Hold on. I have too many photos on my phone. This. There. I just sent it into the coaching chat. Right. So me being in square 3, you want to be in square 5 or 6. But by being in the back half of square 4, you've kind of got 2 squares in between us, you know what I mean? And what that does is like by me being in square 3, ideally you want to be in 5 on that boost path like I've said. But as a general like this goes for like anywheres on the field. You find me in 4, you should probably be in 5, 7 and 8, not 9 and not 6, you know? Now, obviously, this goes with, like, I don't necessarily think that being right behind your teammate is ideal. I think you should be beside them. And if you're not confident in them, on the diagonal to them. And if you are confident in what they do, be in the square beside them. You know what I mean? So, in your ranked lobbies, if you find your teammate in square 4, sit in square 8, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can still play a ball that goes to the middle, and you're still back and defensive. But if you're playing with someone who's higher ranked like me, you could probably sit in square 5, right? Back half square 5 because you don't want to be ahead of the play. You know what I mean? Well, and that's the thing. So it takes a while for you to get things down and for things to just be flawless and for them to just work, right? You're not just going to have a coaching session and then next time you go play, boom, everything's fixed. As I said to Wednesday the other day, is I'm going to probably leave you with 3 to 5 things to work on. Take a session, pick one of those things, take the session, work on it, right? So, for example, I leave you sit back post on defense. Make your whole session about just sitting back post on defense and doing the right thing there. Be damned about doing anything else right. Next session, go work and sit on that offensive positioning and sit on that front and that middle boost pad when your teammate's fighting for possession in the corner. And make sure you're doing that well, right? A game after, like your next session after that, oh, I'm going to make sure I'm always supporting my teammate well and being in the right place for them, you know. I'm going to make sure that's my focus. A session after that, go, okay, I'm going to do boost pathing today. Every path I take, I'm going to make sure I hit every boost pad. Okay, cool. I've done that. I've focused individually on things for a few hours each. I'm going to take a session and now let's try and put it all together all at once. Right? Build up on it. Make one thing habitual so you don't have to think about it. Then you can make another thing habitual so you don't have to think about it. That way, when you go to play a game and put all of it together, hopefully it all just kind of blends together. You know what I mean? As I said, I think mechanically you're doing fine. For someone who's sitting in plat, you are doing great mechanically. It's small little things that just add up over the course of a game, right? Diamond 3 Champ 1, depending on who you talk to. I don't play much ranked at all anymore, honestly. I get back to Diamond. I I got to Diamond 3 with randoms, yes. You put me in Plat 1, I'll blow through Plat in a day. I promise. Yep. Playing on comms can give you up to a full rank, depending. As someone who was sitting in almost Plat 2 in March, because I had fallen from Diamond 2 to Plat 2 after like a couple of rough sessions, I got back up into Diamond in a session just by playing smart. I barely scored. I let my teammates do everything that they needed to do, and I shot open nets. I made good defensive plays. I wasn't overcommitting. No. Like I said, so that's where it comes into the fact of here. Like, you should be, like, even in your lobbies, like, how did I get through these lobbies? Like, okay, yeah, you want to play defensive, but you still don't want to give up your opportunity to score here, right? Come sit here. They will, okay, so they boom the ball. You've got time to go back. You are still the closest man to the ball by sitting here. If that ball suddenly appears back there, you are the closest person to that ball. You have priority on that ball. 9 times out of 10, you will play that ball before anyone else will. So by sitting here, you're not doing anything damaging to your defense. Now, you don't want to go much more forward, because the more forward you go in this position, the more damaging it is. But by sitting back here, you're just... I'm in a one-on-two up here, trying to score in a one-on-two, because my teammate's back there. And the second I get beat, I'm out of the play, and you are now in a one-on-two. The way you play this game, you are playing this game as a 1-and-1 v2, not a 2v2. You are trying to 1v2 your opponents constantly. Whereas by just sitting here, well, now this is a 2v2 again. And this is what I mean by slight positioning changes. Completely change the way this game plays. Because, like you're here. Oops. You make the right decision. You're back. You go for this ball. Like, that's the right thing to do. You just touch it poorly. That will come with better mechanics training. Like, honestly, and legitimately, like, I think if you were more forward on this play to begin with, you can probably score this. But from this point on, you do everything right. Except for that touch. But like I said, that touch will come. But I legitimately think if you are here when this ball happens, and you just start driving at this, well, you're here now. He hasn't drove at that ball, and now this is your ball. You know what I mean? Goal. Right? But because you were sitting here when that touch was made, you couldn't get to that ball in time to take that opportunity. You know what I mean? That at 12 feet and the difference of where you put your car puts you 12 feet closer to this when that touch is made, which puts you that much closer when these guys go or don't go to just make that touch and slot it above them, right? Arguably, I make that touch, and if you're sitting here, you'll recognize that once I make that touch, you can start driving and just be here for this shot. And what are they going to do? Right? I'm bumping this guy. He's completely taken out of the equation. You've just got to worry about this guy. We'll either slot it there, put it here. You know, you've got a couple of options. But like, you know, ideally just slot it right here. He can't do anything about that. He's taken it out of the equation, and you've got a goal. But instead, you're playing to not lose. Which I think is the mental shift you need to make in your brain. Is you guys start playing Rocket League to win games, not to not lose games. Seriously. Because you're playing on the back foot. You're playing a reactionary game, not a proactive game. Playing a proactive game is so much easier and so much easier to do because you're making choices that you want to make. You're not reacting to the things you're being put into. You know what I mean? And so from here, that's not a bad option because you can't beat them to this ball at this point. You can't. So yeah, sure. See if they're gonna whiff and take your action from there. But by just being a bit more proactive in the play, right, and just being here initially, you could still wait and see if they whiff. Like you're not any more defensively damaged by being here. Which is fine. Like if you want to take that approach, that's fine. But the higher rank you go, you're going to see this position a lot. And ideally, like, instead of being back there, you're just already here supporting me, right? You'll see this position and recognize I have one touch off the back wall from here. That one touch off the back wall is going to go somewheres here and go somewheres this way, right? Just looking at the vectors, if my car's going that way, ball's got to come this way. You see me get the touch there. I beat the guy. J.O. Field's facing the wrong way, so he can't make a play on that ball. So you can just start going and realizing that this is probably my ball to take. Now, you don't want to do that. You want to play the more safe game. That's fine. Stay here. Stay grounded. And you can still, guess what? You end up playing shadow defense in the same way. Because by the time you arrive on play, by the time you're here, it's already, okay, I need to play shadow defense now. Well, look at where you are. What's right to the left of you? So, I mean, you're already at this boost pad. You've made the decision to play shadow defense, so you just play shadow defense. You don't end up going as deep. You just turn instantly, and you end up in this exact same situation. You could have your car in this exact same spot just by sitting here the whole time and being more proactive on offense, giving you the opportunity to take the shot if you desire. You don't have to. I understand playing defensively and going, okay, this is a risky shot opportunity because it still is. But instead, you just go, okay, well, let me just turn. I'll play shadow defense. Oh, and look at where I ended up in the exact same spot anyways. Does that at least start to make more sense? Absolutely. Well, and it's going, like I said, you're not going to hop into a game and necessarily be able to apply these tips perfectly. It's going to take you a week, maybe two, of trying these things and going, oh my god, it's finally clicking, it's finally working, things are finally coming together. And I know you're going to tell me, like, oh, you don't think they work. And that's fine. That's fair. I can assure you that it does work because I have given, honestly, a lot of these exact same tips and, like, gameplay ideas to a lot of people that I've coached so far. Wency's gone from low plat to trying to hold on to diamond alone. I've gotten people out of gold into diamond, like pushing diamond. Gotten multiple people out of plat pushing diamond with these tips. It does work. It takes time to adjust to a completely new play style. Let's see, and that again, well, and not really, because again, to get through diamond, you can't play and one v2. It's just not going to work. You've got to play a 2v2, not, oh, it's I'm going to 1v2 these guys. Now it's my teammates' turn to 1v2 these guys. Oh, look, we're on defense. I'm going to play 1v2 on defense while my teammate plays 1v2 on defense. Like, that's just not how you win Rocket League games. That's not how you win any sports game, honestly. Well, so like for example, being able to win casual games with me is completely different than going into your own casual games and trying to win with a random. Well, it's more so the fact of like, okay, so we beat a champ and a diamond in casual ourselves, but like, Well, and that just comes down to the fact of you don't have consistencies. You don't have certain things built up to look a certain rank constantly. Because to me, do you look diamond? No, you don't. Um, but that is because I don't see positional things that I see out of a lot of diamonds. I kind of consider myself champ one. I'm not just because I play like maybe 5 ranked games a month. I'd rather play casual and coach people and play other games, to be completely fair. Um, I still got a lot of work to do on my own end. Sorry? Back post on defense. Back post on defense, man. Like, I, if you want to win your platinum or your plat games, you have to defensively when your team's on defense, you have to assume your teammate's not going to make that save and not be in the right place to help you make that save. So therefore, when he's in the corner, why are you going into the corner with him? Right? Someone's got to protect the net. May as well be you. And I know you don't think it's the right method, but to get through and win your plat games, sitting in that midfield boost possession on offense in the long run is the smarter thing to do. Because you're going to get opportunities that you don't see by sitting in the back half. You can't win games trying to 1v2 the offense every time down the field. You don't have that mechanical ability. Your teammate doesn't have that mechanical ability. So why are you trying to do it that way? Why are we trying to brute force offense? I don't have mechanics. I got through plat and I got through diamond by making good passing plays on offense. The only way you can make good passing plays on offense is by having your teammate on offense with you. By sitting in the back half, you're immediately taking yourself out of the offense. Don't need it. So, learning how to take control is a good option. Um, yeah, so doing that, knowing how to shoot from anywhere's on the field. Like you see an open net, even though you're in your half, you should be able to shoot that at net. You saw me do that a couple of times, right? I mean, in my write-up and my final review, I'm going to leave you a couple of training packs. Um, One of them to help with getting dribble control, one of them to help with shooting. All, just to try and get you more comfortable with those things. Um, So I don't have access to workshop maps. I play on PS5. So um, I tend to suggest training packs just because it's what I've used. And in all honesty, in this last month, I've probably spent 70% of my last 100 hours in training. So that's where, so take dribbles, for example. You go into a pack and you work on being able to get a dribble out of a certain catch or out of a certain position, and then you move it to free play and you try and create that on your own, and then you go in game and go, okay, let me try and create this in game. Same things goes with wall shots. Like you're trying to create air dribbles and double taps and, just aerial wall shots. Work on them in packs so they do the setup for you. The setup's the hardest part of these things. So they do the setup for you. You can get the mechanic down in the air. Then you can take it to free play and go, okay, let me try and work on my setup and get the setup and the shot down. And then you can go into game and try and get all of that going in game. And for any particular mechanic, that can take 50 to 100 hours overall, if not more. Minimum 50 hours. If you want to like actually get dribbling down or get aerial touches down or get, whatever mechanic it is you want to get down, you got to invest time. I have roughly 1,600 hours in this game, and I'd say 500 of those are actually playing the game, maybe 600. The rest of it's in training and free play. I mean, keyboard versus controller, I mean, yeah, keyboard's definitely the inferior input, but there's SSLs on keyboard. I actually have to start doing stuff with my day. I have to use the bathroom. I gotta get food made. Um, I was gonna say I'm gonna do a general like, hey, here's some tips. Here's a couple of training packs. I'm gonna write them up in that ticket and close the ticket. The bot should give you a full like review and like you'll have all the whole transcript in it. This stream will always be available for you to view to go back and watch whenever you decide. It's always like I'm not gonna take it off my YouTube channel. So if you ever want to just go back and hear something we went over, or look at something we went over, it's going to be here. Um, and yeah, at the moment, your kickoff isn't terrible. It, it, I, at the end of the day, is your kickoff my favorite thing in the world that I'm seeing? No. But you are still winning and tying kickoffs, so I can't complain too much about your kickoff. I think you've got bigger issues at the moment. As you start pushing through Diamond and into Champ, yes, we're going to need to get you on a better kickoff strategy, but that's a different issue. I don't think your kickoff is your biggest reason holding you back. You're not getting scored on off your kickoffs. Your kickoffs are strong and competitive enough for where we play. that I think you're better off putting your time elsewhere. Um, when it comes to mechanics, learning how to control the ball, but ideally, I think you just need to get a few game sense things down and a few just positioning, like, hey, just be here when this is happening. Just be here when this is happening. You know what I mean? Because that's what I see as issues. I don't necessarily condone mechanics mistakes either, because they will just come with time and as you get more comfortable with the game. I know you say you've got 3,000 hours. I don't care how much time anyone's got with the game. Numbers, it's just a number. Some people learn quicker than others. Some people don't learn very quick. So you could have, look, I've got a friend that I've made through coaching that he's got like 250 hours and he's a solid diamond. Like, I, and then I've got people like you that I'm coaching that have 3,000 hours and can't get out of plat. Like, oh, absolutely. I've got my own coaching. I haven't even had my chat on. I haven't even been looking at it. Uh, but no, I do have my own coaching and things like that. Um, can't see YouTube chat at the moment. Whatever. Um, I've got my own coaching. I've got my own training regimen that I'm working on. This is why I'm calling myself C1, not a D3, because I play with GCs on the regular. Legitimately, me and Dave just went on an 11-game win streak in casual yesterday. So like, I'm not worried about myself. I want to help other people have fun. I have my fun with this game. I have fun helping people like you and playing with friends. I don't care about my rank that much. I really don't. All my rank really does is go, hey, now you can coach diamonds. I don't care. Really. Oh, probably. I'm working on getting the right teammate for myself. And I have some people I run with here and there that I play with, but um, anyways, I have to get running. Um, feel free if you've ever got questions in the future to just shoot me a message or whatever. I'll be glad to help you going forward too. Um, you don't got to open a ticket just to get a hold of me. Ping me in the server, DM me, it doesn't matter. I will get a, if you have a question or something you want to go over, let me know. We can figure something out. Sound good? All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Uh, give me a little bit to write up your finish there, because I got to do a couple things before I get to that. But I will give you a general overview with a few things to work on, how I recommend working on them, and yeah, I think legitimately you can hold on to Diamond. Well, I mean, you do look like a plat to me at the moment, and it's purely positional. Mechanics-wise, you look great. You look like a diamond mechanics-wise, but positioning-wise, you don't. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's just what I notice, because your mechanics are probably as strong as mine, or at least in And that's why I coach people not to just stay where they are, too, right? Like, I understand that the way you're playing the game now, this might not work. But it will once you understand the why I do what I do and why I tell you to do what you do, right? Because as you rank up and as you do start winning these games, this is just going to be overall the better positioning. And it does work really well for lower ranks because guess what? It is supportive and it's also defensive all at the same time. It's towing that line of being where I need to be, but also not being too aggressive. Because you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to be too aggressive. You want to be passive, but you don't want to be too passive. I understand. You want to be aggressive and passive all at the same time. It's hard to do. It's hard to find that balancing point that doesn't tip the scale too far one way or the other. But you got this. I do believe. All right, man. We'll take her easy. I'll be talking to you. All right, see ya.